What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locked In Sports Podcast. I'm William Locke, and joining me for this Thursday podcast is Luis Barranco. Luis, how you doing?
Happy Thursday morning. It is April 24th. How are you doing? It is week 4. How are we feeling? I know you were at the Cubs-Dodgers game, but how are we feeling this week? What a week it's been.
It's been a good week. It's finally getting warm here in Chicago. It was in almost 70 yesterday. It was like 68 and beautiful weather, sunny. It's going to be nice again today. So the vibes are high. The allergies are there. I've been struggling with my sinuses the past couple days. You might be able to hear it in my voice. I might be sniffling a little bit, so I do apologize. That is why. But great, can't complain. I feel like once it gets warm in Chicago, I feel like a different person. You know, we're coming out of hibernation. That seasonal depression is leaving my body. I always feel like March and early April are always hard because you're just ready for it to be warm. You're so sick of the cold weather at that point. And we're finally, I mean, you live in Miami, so you have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's nice to just the energy in the city right now is super high.
We have the opposite. I am ready for this to become like a fridge and a freezer. Whenever I go north, like if it's 40 degrees, I'm wearing shorts. It is beautiful weather. But regardless, it's great to hear that Chicago's getting back up and running. It's good to see that the playpen's going to be open real soon, open for all the BS that happens and the debauchery that happens at the playpen. Along with the playpen, you have what is West Loop and River North. My people that I do follow on Instagram have now begun posting outdoor activities outside in Chicago. But it is great to hear that your sinuses are back. William's sinus is back. Is kind of like Puxoni Phil, Groundhog Day. Winter's ending. It's time for the dawn of summer. And when summer, you know what that means? It's baseball season. And, we are here this morning. Marlins still stink. It is 80 degrees. And it's time to get started about the week that was week 4 in MLB. William, as we always do, we always start this podcast with our resident Yankee fan, Yankee aficionado William will be giving us his weekend review of the Yankees. I will begin reviewing the series that was this week with the New York Yankees and Gotham's team. Yankees ended up facing the Cleveland Guardians up in Cleveland for a 3-game set. Ended yesterday afternoon. They played a quick little series after the Yankees won the series up in Tampa. Monday, they played a game where the Yankees lost 6-4. Clark Schmidt struggled. William, for y'all that don't know, was texting me this week. This has probably been the most frustrating week for William over Texas Yankee fan. He was calling for half the team to get DFA'd. Clark Schmidt was not great, as I said. 4 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 earned, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, 2 homers. Jay Morama and Kyle Manzardo went back-to-back. It was 5-0 in the fourth. William was telling Clark Schmidt stinks, which we'll talk about later. He wanted Jazz. He's his patience with Mr. Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm is wearing thin. Tuesday, the Yankees again lost in a 3-2 game versus the Guardians. Ben Rice returned to the lineup with a first pitch game oppo homer. Jazz made it 2-0 in the 6th with an opposite field sac fly. Will Warren was strong, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. And then Mark Leiter Jr. came in and allowed 2. Again, Aaron Judge went 4 for 4 again for nothing. He's on a whole different planet right now. And then the Yankees again salvaged the series yesterday, winning 5-1. Judge tripled in the first, making it 1-0, and Goldie followed it with a double, making it 2-0, which they haven't been swept in 3 games or more in Cleveland since 1970. Now, before we continue to give me your whole review and your recap and your thoughts of the week, I have some interesting statistics to bring up to you. Aaron Judge threw 24 games, and this was yesterday morning. is hitting 411 and 25 RBIs. And he will have a batting average of 400 or more and 25 RBIs through the first 25 games, which he already hit. And the only AL players to do so in the wild card era are Joe Mauer in 2009, Marty Cordova in 2001, and Manny Ramirez did it in 95 and 2001. Currently, Aaron Judge and Paul Goldschmidt are leading the lead in the AL with batting average. But of course, you lose 2 out of 3 to Cleveland. The central block teams, that will, excuse my language, will piss off William. So without further ado, what is your thoughts? I know losing in Ohio also hurts. So that's a big thing. So that's why it stings a little more, because William, just if William could eliminate a State of the Union, it would probably be Ohio. He would probably give Ohio to so
No offense to the Ohio listeners. Just coming from a Michigan fan, it's hard to lose in Cleveland in Ohio.
that's not a Michigan fan thing. William, you've always hated Ohio.
No, I mean, we love our Ohio listeners. We do. I got friends from Ohio. I got friends.
Yeah, you're just saying that to boost to feel good, but you hate Ohio. He's saying that to be politically correct. But without further ado, what is your thought?
Yeah, it's always frustrating to lose a series to the Guardians because they're not a team that's gonna just blast home runs by you all week. It's gonna be a team that's kind of gonna dink and dunk you, and that was frustrating. They did have a couple blasts on Monday night against Clark Schmidt with J Ram and Manzardo. So that game really kind of felt like it was over, but they were able to get the tying run up to the plate with Aaron Judge, but he struck out to end the game. So Monday, whatever, you chalk it up, kind of coming off a travel day. You're not gonna win every single game. But then Tuesday was a frustrating one because that's a game that you really should have won. There's been a few of those so far this season that I would chalk up as games we should have won. I think of the Arizona game. There was a game last weekend against Tampa, the Saturday game that we blew in the 9th inning. And this one, you're up 2-0. And then, Will Warren, you get a solid start from Will Warren. He wasn't great, gave up a couple hits in the 6th. And then they took him out and they brought in Mark Leiter Jr., which kind of goes back to the conversation that we've been having about like bullpen roles. And, it was a high leverage spot for Leiter. And he, the Guardians had that double steal on, and then 2 runs scored, or 1 run scored, and then Manzardo doubled and tied it. And then Volpe boots the ball, but it's called a single. I mean, tough hop. It definitely came up on him, but I think that's probably a play he's supposed to make. And I know you mentioned I was dogging some of the guys. It's just heat of the moment stuff. Volpe still, I know he's been struggling at the plate, but he does have value. He does generally play pretty good defense, and there's been some power with him this year. So I'm still giving it some time with Volpe. But that's a night where you get Aaron Judge going 4 for 4, and like you said, he's been all world. Like, you expect to win that game, and they didn't, and it was kind of self-inflicted errors in that 6th inning.
So now as we continue, I want to talk about, and sorry that I cut you off there. One of the biggest things I want to talk about is Volpe. Volpe on social media has been getting an immense amount of heat, and and rightfully so. He hasn't been great. But, one thing I do want to just implore people, and I feel like we just have to talk about, and we have to put ourselves in a position, both of us as, ball knowers and ball watchers, is we just have to stop using revisionist history. One of the things I'm starting to hate a lot on Yankee Twitter, and then that's what my algorithm's putting out, is that everybody's like, oh man, we should have signed Corey Seager. Oh, we should have done Manny Machado. We should have done Bryce Harper. Yeah. I understand, after the Juan Soto, you're obviously going to think oh, we should have signed Harper and Machado. But was it a slam dunk that they were going to sign? Yeah, Harper was working to come to New York, but it wasn't a slam dunk that he was going to sign. And then, and now that the whole Volpe thing, he had a really bad series in Cleveland. People are like, oh yeah, we should have signed Corey Seager. And I'm like, Like, how much of a lock that Corey Seaver was end up going to want to play in New York? Well, if you offer the money, they would have signed. And I'm like, I don't. You can't just say that. Some players don't want to play in New York. You say it best. Some people don't want that spotlight, and people are like, oh, but he played in LA. I'm like, LA and New York are two different markets. LA is a much more market that, like, that they're not going to care if you lose. And I was thinking about this, like, because it is draft day, but like. And I know you and Joe, do college football, but it's something like what I say, and I know I'm comparing it to baseball, is that, for example, all the really good players in college football, most of them, like your Heisman candidates, were on the West Coast. There's less TV heads watching on the West Coast because of the time of the game and just population is less dense out there on the West Coast. That's the same thing with, the whole thing in baseball. Like, it's a two different markets, and you're obviously not going to get as much flack as you are in LA than in New York. You can easily fly more under the radar. We've said it with Albert Pujols, and that's my whole case in point. Now, where I ask you is this: what are we doing with Volpe? Like, is it time for the bench, or do they have to start looking at external options, like more so in the minors, or find a utility bat that can, play you some third and some short to like mix in with Waldo and mix in with Volpe? We understand Volpe's going to provide you damn near Gold Glove defense, but if you're not getting production from that position, you're just giving away a free out.
It's a tough question because my gut tells me the front office is not going to move away from Anthony Volpe this season. He just seems like one of the guys that they really like. They favor the guys that they develop. At least that's what it seems like. I think of an Austin Wells. He's going to continue to get the benefit of the doubt, even though Wells has been struggling too. And I think Ben Rice is going to be that next guy. He's actually been really good, of course, so far this season. Aaron Judge, I mean, everyone, Aaron Judge has been great, but I think the Yankees are going to stick it out with Volpe. He is still very young. He's 23, which is crazy, and he's in his third season. And I think also a point to make is just the position as a whole. There aren't a ton of good shortstops this year, and really in general. There aren't a ton of good shortstops in general. Geraldo Perdomo right now is leading shortstops in Fangraphs WAR with a 1.3. I did not have that on my bingo card heading into the season. You got Bobby Witt Jr. at number 2. He's still hitting above 300, and he's got 7 stolen bases, but he hasn't been his absolute best, what he was last year yet. Lindor's been really good. He's 3rd in WAR. And then like Jeremy Pena, you got Mookie Betts playing shortstop this year, which I got to see him last night in person. Trevor Story, Jacob Wilson, 7th in in Fangraphs WAR among shortstops. Volpe's 10th among shortstop in Fangraph WAR. So you're still getting above average production from Volpe at the position. He's ahead of Ellie De La Cruz. He's ahead of Bo Bichette, Xander Bogaerts. He's ahead of Xavier Edwards, a dude that I think's kind of been having an under the radar season. Like Anthony Volpe's WRC plus is a 98, so that's 2 points under average. So, it's not good, but it's not awful. It's not like he's in the 70s or something. Like look at what Dansby Swanson's doing for the Cubs right now. He's got a 69 WRC plus, a 0 Fangraphs WAR, 192 batting average. Like there's just no pop in that bat anymore. Even though he does have 4 home runs, I think a couple of those were in Oakland or in Sacramento. Like I saw a tweet someone was saying like maybe Anthony Volpe has the Dansby Swanson career arc where he becomes more of a defensive shortstop, and I think there's a lot of those guys, but I could see that. I think that makes sense.
And that's what I said last pod that, I think you remember that I said, are we going to have a Dansby Swanson arc where it's going to be contract year for Volpe and he's going to go nuclear and have that like ridiculous year. And then the Yankees are going to be faced that pay the guy in excess of 100, 200 million over a long-term contract, or let him walk. And then you run a guy like Orlando Arcia, which God knows who would be in that position.
George Lombard Jr. probably for the Yankees, I think.
Well, they want to play Lombard at third. That's the thing. It's just who knows? And it's just like we say, oh, what's long? We can't, that's the other thing too. Like people fall in love with prospects. And I mean, like some fan bases do. But, it's hard to project when they're in the minor leagues what they're going to turn out. A lot of these guys are super young. They're 18, 19 years old, and they're still maturing into their bodies that, who knows, like, if he tacks on like 20 pounds of muscle or 30 pounds, like, he's not going to be as mobile or agile to move around and feel the position. But, like, with Volpe, I just think the bigger issue with Volpe is that, and this is something that I want to get Boone on, and I mentioned this Monday night, is like you hated what Jazz was doing, but like one thing is that Boone's doing is he's like literally shuffling the lineup like a deck of cards. Like the only thing that's
Yeah.
guaranteed is that Judge is going to hit like top three, and that's fine. But like if you're a hitter, and you can talk about this from your perspective because you played, is how different it is that every single game it's different what your hitting order is. I know there's been injuries in the lineup. You've had the Rice injury. You have Trent Grisham going on paternity leaves. That's kind of had a lot of things in flux, and Cody Bellinger not playing great. But like you have to have some set lineup so you can, like, in my opinion, go in with a plan. And I feel like that as a hitter, a lot of guys, a lot of the elite guys, they always talk about going into an at bat with a plan. Like, okay, on this at bat, I'm hunting a fastball and I'm going to pull the ball. That's what and I just feel like Boone hasn't allowed that, and so
Yeah, we have seen some lineup uh just changes, and I do agree. Like I would prefer, and it's a 162 game season. You're going to have some variance in the lineup just because guys are going to have days off. Maybe a guy will get hurt, but I do think there is value in finding your best lineup early and kind of running with it. Now, a counter would be, well, pitchers will figure out how to pitch to that lineup, and they'll be able to get you guys out at a higher level versus if you're changing it up, giving guys different looks every single game might make it a little bit more difficult. And it also depends on like if it's a lefty or a righty. I would prefer though, and maybe I'm old school, but I would prefer that they get a set in stone lineup against lefties, lineup against righties. And again, I know guys are coming in and out of the lineup, but I do agree, and I do think there is some value in consistency, and we have seen the lineup kind of change a little bit this season.
one thing I want to talk about is also Jazz. And I know we're gonna have some pushback with you with this. I know he
Yeah.
is struggling, but I think he's like the talent is so much there. And I know you don't like his off the field antics,
Whoa, 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 whoa,
but
whoa, whoa! No, 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 no. I don't mind his off the field antics. I just think with what all the talking, or maybe not even talking, just the off the field
antics.
attention he gets, like, yeah, and I think antics is maybe the best word. Like he has to play good in order to back that up. And if he's one of those guys that if he is the way he is and he's hitting 150 or whatever, it's gonna be tough. He's gonna get blowback.
But I just think it's just that's what's gonna happen. I feel like he's one of those guys. It's like mercurial. Like you're gonna get stretches that he's gonna be hitting like this, and then you're gonna get stretches that he's like superstar. That's what's gonna happen. And I know a lot of fans are like, also he's another one on the hit list because of like what you say, the off the field. But I think is you gotta take the good with the bad. You know, that's my opinion with him. He's like in a way like probably gonna be the Yankees Dennis Rodman in a sense without like the craziness that he
Yeah,
was like.
he was crazier than that for sure.
But that's what I'm saying. It's just like you're gonna have to take the talking, the aura, the all the stuff that
Right.
he comes with. That's just
Yeah.
my opinion, and I think you just gotta lay off. And I mean, like, look, if his bat doesn't come up, I mean, something that we talked about last pod, and I want to just reiterate is that last year, does Gleyber Torres make the plays that Jazz makes defensively at second?
No.
And like a lot of fans are like, oh, we want Gleyber back because Gleyber's quietly having a good year, and we'll talk about that later for Detroit. But does Gleyber make those defensive plays that Jazz has been making? There's been a couple plays that that Gleyber will not get to that ball.
Yeah.
So
Jazz has a 3 outs above average at second base, which is in the 97th percentile. It's really good. He's hitting 165. So the bat hasn't been there. He does have 7 home runs though. But agreed, I would not. I would prefer to not have Glaber back on the team.
here's my thing: would you rather have Gleyber's bat or Jazz's defense? if you had to pick one?
I'd rather have the defense for sure, given what we saw last year defensively and how many games it cost us. And, it's not like Glaber is hitting 40 home runs this season. Like, he's hitting 283, 748 OPS, and 2 home runs. And he's playing a below average defense with a -2 outs above average, which is in the 11th percentile. So it's the same story with him, it sounds like, over there in Detroit.
But then here's my thing. With this construction, you rather have that. This roster construction that the Yankees have. This build.
I'd rather have the defense. Yeah.
And you rather have a struggling 6 through 9, 5 through 9 order of the lineup.
Well, it's not like the 6 through 9 in the lineup last year wasn't struggling.
But I mean, if you have Gleiber, you say you have Gleiber hit better bat instead of having,
Jazz.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, okay, think about it last year. Last year you had Rizzo and Goldschmidt. You improved both bat and defense with Goldschmidt because Goldschmidt is an incredible defender and he's probably being the biggest bargain buy of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At third base, you had Jazz, which he was good defensively, but that's not his natural position. And you have Waldo.
Yeah, Waldo's been consistently the third baseman this year. I think he's kind of, it's not like he's playing amazing, but he's kind of solidified himself as the number one go-to guy there. Now, DJ LeMahieu just started a rehab assignment this week. Yeah. And we'll see. It seems like they're going to give him a full spring training type rehab stint. So it's going to be a few weeks, probably closer to a month. Yeah, he's going to be in the minor leagues for a while, but Oswaldo's been okay. But yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9, even 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 has not been great. It's really been Ben Rice, Aaron Judge, and Paul Goldschmidt doing all the production for the Yankees offensively for the past couple of weeks.
And whoever shows up. But just my thing is you wouldn't want to have Gleiber. You wouldn't sacrifice one of those guys on the infield. Now, here's my perspective. And a question to you. Say we get to July. We know Cashman's going to bargain bin. That's just typical Cashman. Like, we're not going to see, for as much as we're going to talk about Sandy and big moves, like, I don't think Spencer Jones. I think Spencer Jones is a Yankee, one of those guys that we all boost up and the media boosts up to be as this great prospect, when in reality he's a good prospect, but he's not great.
He's got a funky looking stance. I think he changed it again. It looks like he's like sitting down. If you guys haven't seen it, I go look up Spencer Jones' stance. There's some tweets on it. It's funky.
Substack
Maybe
soon.
Maybe, yeah.
But my whole point is I don't think we're gonna I think Lombard is probably the only prospect that's safe. And I don't think that teams really do value Spencer Jones and like the Will Warrens and Chase Hamptons of the world so much as we do. Okay.
Yeah, and Chase Hampton's hurt, so probably wouldn't trade him now anyways.
But say, Gleiber Torres reunion, maybe. MLB for MLB guy.
No chance. Tigers are we're pushing we're going back to back with the Tigers for best record in the American League. Early, but they've been good.
I'm just saying, like move Jazz to third, maybe, and go find a second baseman.
The move is clear. The move is clear. It's trade for Nolan Arenado. I know we were dancing around that this offseason, the front office was, but that's the move. I know it costs money, but with every day it costs less money.
It does, but this is the thing. It's money. That's the thing. Do you think Cashman's going to open up his pockets? And I don't want to get lost in like July because these are all hypothetical, but it's money. And look at the positions, the infield positions. And this is happening right now to me in fantasy baseball. My fantasy baseball team is the most injury-riddled team, and somehow I am still in the top 4 of the league. Third baseman is such a weak position in Major League Baseball right now. I've beaten this drum so hard. It is probably the weakest infield position right now. Shortstop, you say it's weak, but I think there's a lot of quality shortstops in this league. It is stacked. They may not be producing at the level we expect or producing at the level you expect to be on a contending team, but there's a lot. Second base, there's also an ample amount of second basemen that I feel you could move Jazz to third and then find a second baseman. I know it's not a popular topic because, we talk about defense and putting everybody in their natural position, but like we love Waldo, but I think Waldo is better fit to be a super utility guy that comes in and gives somebody an off day in the infield. He is not made to be a starter on a World Series roster. He's
Yeah, I
more of
agree.
the Kike Hernandez of the Yankees. And we know how great Kike Hernandez is for the Dodgers. He's making a career making $8-10 million a season like that in the majors.
Can you guess who's leading Fangraphs WAR amongst third basemen this season?
Not Devers. Is it Waldo?
No.
Give me a hint. Is it AL or NL?
NL.
Oh, it's Austin Riley. Austin Riley's like went 365 in the past 10 days. Because
He's third behind two guys, one West Coast, one Central Block. They're tied with 1.1, and Austin Riley's at 1.0. Also, Bregman's at 1.0 fourth. He's been really good.
Bregman's seeing scorched earth. Chapman, because Chapman's
Yeah.
also been Chapman's struggled. He's hit 240 in the past week, but he's still hitting the ball really well out in San Francisco. He's coming along, and I don't know, Central Block, probably Arenado. I mean, Arenado started off hot, and he's kind of been all right recently. He hit a home run.
Arenado's fifth. Zach McKinstry from Detroit.
I'm not surprised. No surprise, but we've beaten the drum about the Yankees hitting. Before we move on, Rodon's been great. I have some statistics on Mr. Rodon. I mean, I have my stuff saved in drafts, so there's no need to whip out my drafts out here. But I do have some stats on Mr. Rodon. Rodon's pretty good. He's he went 4 hits, 1 run ball, 8 strikeouts, and 2 walks yesterday. Struck out 17 hitters in the last 13 innings pitched. He has a 3.5 ERA, 31.9 strikeout rate, 48.1 ground ball rate, and a 6.3 barrel percentage allowed. Dating back to last season, a 3.12 ERA and a 30.5 strikeout rate in his last 18 starts. 45 strikeouts in the AL.
He's a strikeout pitcher, and great start when the Yankees needed him yesterday. I know it was a getaway game, so maybe you can use the bullpen a little bit more in a game like that, but to be able to preserve the pen, only going to Fernando Cruz and Luke Weaver with an off day today. I mean, I know it's, the Guardians have been a good team, but I still don't think it's the most intimidating lineup. Especially when you get J-Ram going on the right side, which he's better on his left. So I don't know. Still, either way, like that was a much needed start from Rodon. He was good against Tampa last weekend, good against the Guardians last afternoon, and his next start is Baltimore on Tuesday against Cade Povich. So you would hope that's a winnable game for the Yankees too. So yeah, man, I don't know, like that is the Rodon. And it's not going to be 7 scoreless, whatever, every single time, but that's the Carlos Rodon that the Yankees paid for. That's $26 million a year or whatever. He earned his money with that kind of start.
Can we also talk about how good of a start it was yesterday? That in the sense that, last weekend in Tampa, before we close out, the Yankees pen was used. Like it was kind of like Sunday we were both texting, and I know you were busy, but I was like, how are they going to finish this game? If Cruz can't get out of the ninth, like who are they going to go to? Are we going to really have Ryan Yarbrough try to save a game? Or maybe Tim Hill after pitching 20, 25 pitches the night before? So it was really good that, after Monday's bomb start from Clark Schmidt and Will Warren, that there wasn't a lot of length in those 2 starts, that Rodon was able to give 7, and then you don't have to use a lot of the pen, and then you have today off. So you're pretty much ready for the weekend, which is a big series against Toronto, who Toronto's quietly been good. And, I feel like if you can win these division games and start stacking them up and building some distance between you and your Eastern foes, that's good to finish out the year.
Yeah, Toronto's been good to start the season, but the last week has been rough. They've lost 5 straight, just got swept in Houston, which we might talk a little bit about later, but it is still going to be a tough series. The pitching matchups I can just pull up right here. Tomorrow night, Friday, we got Carlos Carrasco against Jose Barrios. Make sure you're not trying to pick up signs against Barrios.
Oh boy, that's going to be how many runs over under 10 runs that game?
Yeah, I would set the over under at about 8.5.
8.5 runs. Like, I think both. That's going to be is it? That's in Toronto. No, it's in New York,
No,
right?
it's in New York. Yeah, it's in New York.
Yeah, it's over 8.5. Easy money.
Yeah, and then Saturday we got Fried versus Gosman, and Sunday is Clark Schmidt versus Chris Bassett.
So some good pitching matchups this weekend. Mark Leiter, how are we feeling about Mark Leiter? Are you ready to DFA him or not yet?
No, I think he should be lower in the pecking order. Like he's obviously behind Weaver, Williams. I have him behind Cruz now. We really haven't seen much Ian Hamilton at all. He hasn't pitched since Saturday. I would like to see Hamilton get more run, but I would have Leiter ahead of Hamilton. Lefty, but I'd have Tim Hill kind of at that Mark Leiter Jr. level. And then we got Tyler Matzik. We just called him up to the big league club. And then Yarborough, which I think the Matzik call up is probably going to make Yarborough a little bit nervous because that's now 3 lefties in the bullpen. One of them might go certainly once we get some of these guys coming back healthy.
When Hill comes back, I think Yarborough's gone. I think you slide Will Warren or Carrasco into the long relief pen. That's kind of my thought process on that.
I do really like the thought of Will Warren as a long reliever or even a high leverage guy because he does have good stuff. It's just, I think like second, third time through the order, teams kind of figure him out. But obviously you don't have that problem in the bullpen.
I think the whole thing with Warren is just how organizationally what you think about him. If the Yankees view him as a starter, I think you're going to want him to get more reps in the minors just to refine his stuff and just to get a better mix and feel for his game. Now, if they don't view him as that, if they view him more as, trade bait, I mean, you do keep him up. You have him pitch, long relief situationally, build up his trade value and make a play for, I don't know. I mean, for example, if we are talking Arenado, who do the Cardinals have as an arm of the future?
Of the future?
Nobody. I mean, that's up right now. That's up right now. Liberatore, yeah, but it's just like MLB ready.
He's been good. Yeah. Liberatore has been good. Team's been middling, 10 and 15. Sonny Gray, but he's got that big contract. Eric Fetty, meh. They don't really have that young guy. I mean, Tink Hens is a name that we've talked about as a prospect.
Not MLB ready yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, rate the week as we always do. Rate the week from 1 to 10. William, how we rating this 1 to 10 to start
the Guardian series?
Week.
Probably a 3. I mean, should have won 2 out of 3. That's what I predicted heading into it. And you win 1 of 3. Whatever. I mean, ideally, you beat up on the Central Block teams. It's something that the Yankees have done, but they've kind of struggled against everybody else so far. So, be interesting to see what happens in the second now division series of the year against Toronto.
We're up to 5 games on my count. You got to keep the tracker on for the socials. 5 games that the Yankees that have won, that are winnable games that they've blown. And I'm going to tell you the 5. The first one was the Arizona game where Mark Leiter Jr. again blew it. Okay. Yep. Then you got the Pirates game that went to extras and they lost. They should have won that. Yep. You should be able to get a run in extra innings, 1 or 2 runs when you had your top of the order on a Sunday getaway game. You should be able to sweep it. Tigers series, I mean, you lost that series. Like, there's no ways. Giants, that Sunday's Giants game, that's 3. Where Jung Hooley went yard off Rodon, that's 3. Saturday's Rays game, and then Tuesday's Guardians game. So you're up to 5 right now. We'll keep it. We'll keep that in mind for the end of the season. Just file that away.
That's a good tracker to keep. I'll write that down in our doc after this game or after this podcast.
After this game, yeah. But yeah, I mean, 3 against Toronto. I mean, it's going to be a tough series. I think you get Friday, and I think you get you. I think the way Fried's pitching, I think you get 2 out of 3. I'm gonna go 2 out of 3 this weekend.
That's always the goal. Rest of the bullpen, that's the goal. Always win the series. So let's try to win 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is don't let Vladimir Guerrero Jr. warm up. I mean, he hasn't warmed up yet, but this could be the series that if you give him a couple pitches to hit, like he just starts seeing dead red, and you don't want that guy to get hot. I mean, as we said, Toronto's lineup isn't world beaters, so they're not. You don't have their back half isn't that great. So
yes, important note: Friday, the high is 77. Saturday, it's supposed to rain on Saturday, but the high is 71, and then Sunday, sunny and 65. So, barring the weather
Saturday.
or barring the rain, poses to be a really nice weekend in New York.
So you're winning Friday and Sunday.
Yeah. Jazz is hitting 3 home runs in each game because it's over 60.
Hey, he got that Bahamian weather, Hopefully it works out for him.
Yeah. He did hit that home run on Tuesday, or Monday. Credit to him for that.
And I did tell you, Jazz is due for a homer, and he did go. And I didn't tell my buddy to put it on the parlay. Regret it. But as we move along, let's talk about the second biggest series of the week. William, I'll let you take it away. It was Cubs-Dodgers. In Wrigley, William went to the game last night at Wrigley. Cubs won the series. So without further ado, William, you were tapped in. You got to listen to Marquee Sports the whole week, as I cannot listen to Marquee. I will have a game up on Marquee, and I will fall asleep on my couch. So without further ado, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Cubs exclusively play insane games, and this is not a coincidence. It's very calculated. It's because they have, the best offense in the league right now. They're first in every single hitting category: average, OPS, OBP, runs. They are third in home runs, first in stolen bases. Like, they have a really good offense, but where they struggle is obviously their bullpen. It's very clear. 27th in bullpen ERA, 26th in WHIP, 26th in Ks per 9. Like, they're trotting out dudes that I have never heard of, and I'm extremely tapped into baseball. They won Tuesday against the Dodgers, 11-10 in 10 innings. And then I went to the game last night, and they won 7-6 in what was a back and forth game. The guy I want to highlight, and a guy that I think Cubs fans are super excited about right now, is Pete Crow-Armstrong. Pete Crow-Armstrong, and I can clip this up, post it on the socials. This is definitely getting posted to the socials, I think. PCA, Pete Crow-Armstrong, he's playing like a superstar right now. And there was the report that he or the team tabled an extension, and I think that's only been benefiting PCA with the way he's been playing lately. Over the last 30 days, let's do 15. Over the last 15 days, he's hitting 375 with a 1.242 OPS, 5 home runs, 12 RBIs, and 4 stolen bases. On the season, he's hitting 294, which is strong, with an 888 OPS, 5 home runs, 17 stolen bases, and 10 stolen bases and 17 RBIs. He is playing like a superstar. We know that he plays elite defense. He's getting to everything he's getting to everything in center field. If a ball hits a center, even if it's a tough play, you feel confident because PCA is going to cover it. He can steal bases. He's hitting for power all of a sudden. Like, he hit a nice opposite field home run last night, which is really impressive. And we know the defense, we know the stolen bases, and he's a fan favorite. Like, I quietly think he has become probably the Cubs fans' favorite player on this team this year. I think like him and Shota are in that conversation, but PCA is an everyday player, so he might be the Cubs' favorite player this season. I think they should move him up in the lineup. He's hitting 7th right now. I think you can make an argument he should be leading off over Ian Happ. I certainly would have him hitting ahead of Nico Horner, and Dansby Swanson, who's hitting 5th right now. Michael Bushman's been having a good year, but maybe you could put him ahead of him too, because just the running, I think you want to get this guy as many at bats as possible. I was super impressed with PCA last night. I think they need to sign him to an extension. I think the Cubs have a lot of guys that they need to sign to extensions. Right now, you're targeting Kyle Tucker, of course, which the price just keeps going up for him. He didn't do much last night, but has been great on the season. And PCA. And all of a sudden, too, you got your backup catcher, Carson Kelly, hitting like Barry Bonds numbers. I know it's still super early, but he's been really good too. This lineup, it's not that different from last year. It's essentially the same lineup, except they added Kyle Tucker, who's top 10 player in the game. So that helps. But everyone else is more or less the same. And I don't know, like the numbers are just insane. Like they're the best offense in baseball right now. But the pen needs work. You lost Justin Steele. I think that needs some work. And there was that report earlier this week that they're looking at bringing in starting pitching and bullpen help already. Um, but it's a fascinating team to watch. I mean, I know you have some stats pulled up, but and it's something we talked about in the preview podcast. They had a really tough schedule heading into the year. And so far, they're 16-10, first place in the division. They have not struggled with it at all, really.
I mean, I think the Cubs have been the talk of the first 4 weeks of the Major League Baseball season. I mean, you start the season out in Japan. You're already dealt a really crappy hand with the schedule in Japan, but I mean, they've exceeded expectations. And as you said the other day, we've talked about, I mean, you played a lot of games were already on the road. You're going to come home to Chicago to that good weather, and you're going to be hitting the ball. And, those 220 games in Chicago are different. You can talk about those Friday 220 games. That's like, playing out at Iowa on a Saturday afternoon. That's like playing a game out in Tuscaloosa. It's a game like, it's a home court field for them. So with the whole Pete Crow-Armstrong thing, credit the Nugget chef. The only players with a more valuable F WAR than Pete Crow-Armstrong since August 1st of last season are Aaron Judge, Bobby Witt Jr., Corbin Carroll, Shohei Ohtani, and Francisco Lindor. Talk about an elite list to be a part of, for one.
Yeah, that's really impressive.
You also have Shota Imanaga pitching really well, which again, Nugget Chef. Shota Imanaga joins Ray Burns as the only pitchers in Cubs franchise history to allow 3 home runs, but 2 or fewer earned runs in his last start. Like the Cubs are doing some good things. And I mean, Ryan Presley's gotten better. I know he was rough, but since the beginning of April, he's pitched 8 innings, 6 hits, 2 walks, and 3 saves. So he's back. The only thing is that he had to get his knee drained this week. Could be out for the next couple of days. Hopefully he's back by Friday. They start a 3-game set against the Phillies. So it'll be very interesting to see how they perform against the Phillies. I know the Phillies, we'll talk about them. They need a get-right series. They're going to be a little bit angry about what happened to them earlier this week. So it's going to be a very, very interesting start. I mean, I don't know, man. Cubs got something brewing again. Got good news about the Justin Steele injury. It's not a second TJ, as they first said. It's a whole different type of injury, so he should be back earlier than expected next season.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, if the Cubs are already doing this with good teams, can you imagine when they play the Rockies? They're like those really bad teams. Like, they're going to put like 20 home runs without craziness.
Yeah, without the craziness in the bullpen, hopefully.
And the other thing too is, we're a lot of things people aren't talking about is how the Dodgers have been playing lately. I mean, you lose Blake Snell for the foreseeable future, and the Dodgers just have lost a lot of games. Like since starting that hot, they've lost a lot.
16-9.
Yeah, but
and I mean, I know it's a good record. It's not the best record in the sport right now. I was not impressed with the back half of their lineup, seeing it in person. And if you look at their hitting statistics, they're 21st in average, 18th in OBP, 6th in OPS, first in home runs. They're not running the bases. They're 25th in stolen bases. The rotation just got thinner with Snell getting shut down. I mean, I could have seen that coming, kind of just what happens with him. Tyler Glass now, kind of like waiting for him to get hurt. Like Yoshinobu Yamamoto has been the surest thing in that rotation. We talked about him last podcast. Kind of think he's the best player or the best pitcher in the sport right now. But I got to see a bullpen game last night, which might be a hot take. I don't even think it's a hot take. I hate going to games that are bullpen games. Like I came to see starting pitching. I think Major League Baseball should do something to maybe hamper your ability to do a bullpen game. They're just not that fun to watch. They pitched like 5 or 6 guys last night, none of which were all impressive at all, really. Maybe Kasperius, the guy that started, he was actually pretty good, but he went 40 pitches. Then it was Kirby Yates. We saw Evan Phillips. We saw Anthony Banda. We saw Jack Dreyer. We saw Luis Garcia and Noah Davis. Like, it was just too much. I mean, they have a laundry list of dudes on the injured list right now. And offensively, Mookie hasn't been putting up the numbers quietly. And MLB might shame me for this one, but Ohtani hasn't been amazing this year. And I was talking to my friend that I went to the game with. I was like, it's not even a debate between Ohtani and Judge. Like, Judge is just miles better of a hitter. Not miles better, but Judge is clearly a better hitter than Ohtani. I don't think it's much of a discussion. And part of me wonders, is the fact that Ohtani is trying to ramp up with this pitching stuff. I know they keep pushing him back a little bit, but is the fact that he's kind of worrying about the pitching side of things this year, where he didn't have to last year, is that affecting his hitting at the plate? And it's not like he's hitting, 210 or something. He's still having a decent season. He's hitting, let me just pull it up. He's hitting 261 with 6 home runs and an 848 OPS. It's good numbers, but it's not Ohtani numbers. Certainly not Ohtani last year numbers. Betts has been okay. Freeman's been okay. Teoscar's been good. Tommy Edman, you can make an argument, has been their best hitter this year. So
Freddie Freeman's been okay. Really? He's hitting 250. That's not Freddie Freeman. Like, that's not what you expect. It's kind of like, I've looked at this thing because I was deep diving some statistics and I was tinkering with my fantasy baseball team, and I looked at Freddie Freeman and I saw he was only hitting 272. Now he's hitting 250. Yeah. So it's kind of like, Dodgers, for all that the greatness that they are, like, you're supposed to be miles ahead in that division. And the fact is that they're still fighting teams like the Cubs, and you're not a lot of games ahead. And how strong the Padres have been, and the Diamondbacks have been, and the Giants, like, they might not win. And I know it's going to sound pretty crazy, but these games might hurt them at the end. This could be the difference between winning an 105 game season to not winning an 105 game season.
Like, since starting out 8-0, they are 8-9.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Now, the good news for Dodgers fans, the schedule ahead looks very nice.
Let me guess. They play the Rockies like twice in the next 2 weeks.
No Rockies, but it's Pittsburgh at home for 3, Miami at home for 3. Then they go to Atlanta for 3. They go to Miami for 3. So 2 series against Miami in the next couple of weeks. And then, it's Arizona for 4, Athletics, Angels, Arizona. So, but the next couple weeks or so, you get Miami twice and you get Pittsburgh this weekend. I think they'll cover some ground here.
But Miami's not a slam dunk. Like, for those teams listed out, like, they aren't slam dunks because, okay, Miami, you should have faced Sandy, which he's been all right, but you should Sandy, Max Meyer, and maybe Eduardo Cabrera. Pittsburgh this weekend, you are going to face Paul Skeens.
Yeah, check this out. Friday night, Yoshinobu Yamamoto versus Paul Skeens. That is the best pitching matchup of the year.
Woo! It's going to be a duel, but that's what I'm saying. You should say Skeen, and then Atlanta, you're probably going to get Schwarlen back. And when is that? Next week? Atlanta's next week or the week after?
Next Friday, so a week from tomorrow. They get Schwellen back on Saturday, May 3rd. Yeah.
Yeah, because you won't get Strider. I was going to say if it was a little bit ahead, you could get Strider. But, hey, chalk it up to the Cubs. Chicago fans have something to look forward to, or something for their hearts to get broken as they do every year as a Chicago sports fan. So
yeah, I think the goal for them is just to win the division. I don't think they have World Series aspirations or anything, but fans would be happy if they made the playoffs. It is playoffs or bust for sure.
All right, well, then let's run through the rest of the MLB for the remainder that we have. So, we didn't wrap up the series on Monday for a marathon day. Boston Marathon was on Monday. Congratulations to all those competed. Red Sox won 4-2, Marathon Monday. Walker Buehler, 9 strikeouts and 7 innings pitched. Benintendi hit a fourth homer of the season off Chapman, and Trevor Story went 3-4. Any takeaways from that on
No.
Monday? None at all?
I did see that Tim Kirchin on his podcast was talking about how Dustin Pedroia used to get to the stadium 8 hours before each game. It was just this thing. It helps him get ready for the game. He had to be there 8 hours, full, 9 to 5 work schedule ahead of first pitch. So on Marathon Monday, when they play at 11 o'clock, that is correct. Dustin Pedroia got to the stadium at 3 a.m. He let the clubhouse staff know. He let all the training staff know that he's going to be there at 3 a.m. And that's what he did. And it worked for him. So I did think that was kind of interesting. And I do think it's cool and unique that the Red Sox have that early game on Marathon Monday. It's a big deal in Boston. Patriots Day.
But yeah, Patriots Day. Well said. Now that we're on the tone of Boston, I mean, series is tied. Game 3 is today. They won on Tuesday. Brian Bello came off the injured list, pitched 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned, 3 strikeouts. Like I said, Alex Bregman has been tearing the cover off the baseball. 2 doubles and 3 RBIs, and Tristan Casas homered to make it 7-3. They won 8-3 on Tuesday, and then Wednesday last night, I was watching this game. The Mariners won 8-5. Tristan Casas hit a 3-run jack late in the game. Boston has homered in 10 straight games, which ties their streak since August of 2024, where they hit a home run in each game. So that they have that streak alive. And the Mariners, it's just been who's taking it up. I mean, we talked about last podcast about J-Rod. What are we doing with them? I mean, they won 8-5. We know pitching's going to carry, but like, what's going on there? How are we feeling?
They've kind of been like win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. They haven't been pretty consistent. I mean, they're a 500 club, 13-11 right now. Fangraphs gives them a 68% chance to make the playoffs, which seems kind of high. They're 22nd in average, 11th in OPS. The starting pitching actually hasn't been that great. 21st in ERA. I felt that personally, although I do have Brian Wu on my fantasy team. He maybe has been one of their better pitchers. But they haven't been, they haven't been great. Bryce Miller's been Luis Castillo hasn't been that good this year. Emerson Hancock, not that good. Logan Gilbert continues to be good, but yeah, I know it's tough because they have the best closer or one of the best closers in the game, and Andres Munoz, and they kind of can't really get to him. I think today is going to be a fun game. I think it's an afternoon getaway day game. Brian Wu versus Garrett Crochet in Boston. So that's a good pitching matchup to watch.
Can I also say something for you to look for a Substack article?
Sure.
Go look at Mariners pitching splits away and at home. That's something MLB TV highlighted it the other day, but go do a little deep dive on that. I did a little deep dive myself, and it was very interesting to see. But yeah, Boston's hot. I mean, Yankees, Red Sox, gonna be a lot of runs when it comes in a couple weeks. So
yeah, so the Red Sox are a game and a half back of the Yankees right now. Obviously, it's super early, so it feels like it's going to go into the summer with those two. Unfortunately, they don't play each other until June 6th in Fenway.
They got to go to Cleveland tonight. So they play Cleveland, and Cleveland at home, they've only lost 2 the whole year. So I'm taking Cleveland this weekend for that series. I mean, Cleveland at home is a super Jesus. Like
I think it's because I think no one wants to be there. No one wants to be in Ohio, so they just tough place to play, I guess.
Another shot towards Ohio for William. He said it's not a big deal, but here we are at 9:06 in the morning, and we'll do another shot. But
just a joke. That
wraps up that Boston's week in Seattle. White Sox ended up traveling to Minnesota. Minnesota has already won the series 2-0. Twins won 4-2 on Tuesday and then won 6-3 yesterday. White Sox have lost 14 straight at Target Field, and the Twins have Luke Keyshaw, who has stolen 5 stolen bases in 5 games. Byron Buxton making plays. I mean, just a dead series so far. Nothing much to write home about,
Dead series, 4th and 5th in the American League Central. Neither of these teams, I don't think, are going to do anything this year. But Byron Buxton did have that incredible catch to seal the win in the 9th inning on Tuesday night. Benintendi hit a ball into the gap in right center, and they had 2nd and 3rd. So with 2 outs, it would have tied the game down 2 runs. But Buxton made a great catch, and I think that was cool to see. I think when players make crazy catches like that to end the game, to steal the win, it's one of my favorite things to see in the sport. It's really cool.
Yeah, we got to get these NPC series out the way. So like these series that are just background, like you just put them on and they're just happening. Like, will they affect the MLB season? Probably not, but they're just going on in the background. Just got to get those out of the way.
I think there is value in watching those series or paying attention to them just to see what kind of guys might become available at the trade deadline.
But really, with how I mean, it's just interesting. Just keep in mind, Reds Miami, Miami 2-1 winning the series. Reds came in, lost 2 out of 3. Marlins won 6-3 on Monday. Max Meyer in 92 pitches, 14 strikeouts, 6 innings pitched. Alexis Diaz, again, not great, coming back off the injured list, 3 earned in an inning and a third pitch. Tuesday, Marlins won again 4-3. Agustin Ramirez, the main piece coming back from the Jazz Chisholm trade, he's balling out. He was acquired, pretty great. Reds couldn't get it done again. And then yesterday, the Reds won 5-2. Sandy pitched the first game of 6 or more innings since Tommy John surgery. Matt Mervis hit his 7th home run, and Eric Wagman extended his hit streak to 11 games. Another NPC series. Again, the Reds will not fool me this year after watching them against San Francisco. They are who they are. No offense. I don't care that they put up 25 runs against the Orioles. We know what they are.
Yeah, I do think we might have underestimated the Marlins a little bit. And not in the sense that they're going to do anything in terms of playoffs, but I had them in the running to be like worse than last year's White Sox team, or like in that conversation. And I mean, they're 11-13. They've had random guys like Matt Mervis produce. Augustin Ramirez has been really good.
William, do you see the Reds lineup?
Yeah, but it's been more than just this series for the Marlins.
Do you see the Reds lineup?
I do see it.
Is there anybody who starts on other MLB rosters on that lineup other than Ellie De La Cruz? Exactly.
Well, I think you're underestimating. I mean, the 13th in average, 10th in homers, 4th in runs.
Yeah. Everything's inflated. Everything's inflated. So please.
Austin Hayes, Gavin Lux, Jake Fraley, Spencer. It's not a good lineup. TJ Free, yeah. Grim, and they are 12-13, 3.5 back of first in the Central.
Hot take: the Reds and the Marlins are exactly the same team. Great pitching, great starting pitching, or really good starting pitching, and okay hitting to above the below average.
Yeah. I mean, Sandy hasn't been great yet. Max Meyer was incredible on Monday. I can't wait till Noble Meyer gets the call up, and they'll have the double Meyer.
Double M.
Yeah, double M in the rotation. Hunter Greenwatch, he's starting Saturday in Colorado, so hopefully he can bounce back.
Oh God, I fear that start. Either 13 strikeouts or 5 home runs given up.
I mean, the Rockies are the worst team in the sport. The Rockies are 4-18.
I mean, they lost to the Royals this week on Tuesday in 11, 4-3. Chris Bubeck went 7 4 hits, 6 strikeouts. Carlos Estevez blew the save, giving up 3. Jacob Stallings 3-run double to tie it. I mean, it's tough for the Royals when your only good player right now is Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr. is on a 14-game hitting streak, if you've noticed. He's been playing out of his mind recently. Just ridiculous. In a 14-game hit streak, he's hitting .360 with a .433 OBP and 9 runs. All other Royals, 170, .234 OBP, and 22 runs. They are 5-9 in that span. Credit Underdog for the statistic. Underdog MLB. So,
yeah, I mean, they need him to be all-world. His numbers aren't that's incredible. His numbers aren't overall as good as they were last year, but it's still early. So they got a doubleheader today. Got rained out yesterday.
They should
Rockies Royals NPC series.
They should win NPC series, exactly. Let's go back to some meaningful baseball. Let's talk about San Diego and Detroit. Detroit's been really good, man. Won the series 2-1. Javi Baez playing center field, 6-4 win. on Monday. Padres won 2-0 yesterday. Nick Pivetta and Jack Flaherty both had incredible starts. And then Tigers won yesterday. Reese Olson, man, he's been a guy I've liked for a while since last season. He went 7 1/3 in 85 pitches. I'm telling you, I know Andrew got really sicko with us with the pitching coach, but it's true, man. Talk about how Casey Mize, Reese Olson, and Tariq Skubal, that might be a top 5 front 3 for the playoffs in the AL. Maybe top 10 in all of the sport right now. Jack Flaherty, when he puts on the the Detroit Tigers uniform, becomes the second coming of Justin Verlander and Dontrelle Willis. In 104 innings pitched, he has 167 Ks and a 2.89 ERA with a .97 WHIP in Tiger starts. Like he becomes Cy Young, Jack Flaherty.
Yeah, their rotation and really their whole pitching staff is carrying this team right now. And the lineup's been okay. It hasn't been elite, but second in starting pitching ERA, fifth in bullpen ERA. You got second in WHIP amongst relievers. You got obviously led by the best pitcher or one of the best pitchers in the sport in Tariq Skubal, who hasn't even been his 2024 form yet. Jack Flaherty, who you just mentioned, is really good with the Tigers for whatever reason. Reese Olson, great start yesterday against a good Padres team. And then Jobin Mize, who Mize had a really good start his last time out against the Royals.
That's 5 guys. I forgot. I said Mize, Olson, and Skubal. I forgot Flaherty. Whoa.
Yeah, and then you get Tommy Kahnle in the bullpen, who's just spams changeup and no one can hit it. Will Vest is a good closer. I think they can run away with this division. I said it last time. I know Cleveland's there right now, but I think over the course of a 162 game season, the pitching is going to play, man. Hitting is up and down. You get guys get hot at different times in the season. And, Torkelson's been really good so far for them this year, which has been really welcome. But I think that pitching it's just going to be there. It's just going to be there for them. And I think they're going to win this division by 5+ games.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's go to New York. Mets got sweep. Unfortunately, the Mets might be the hottest team in baseball.
You kind of buried the lead with this one.
Yeah.
The Mets might be the best team in the sport.
Yeah, aside from the Cubs, might be the hottest. I feel like that guy not trying to hit the red button and say what I want to say, like that I talk good about the Mets.
7 straight wins for the Mets.
I'll let you talk about it. I can't. It hurts. I can't stand Mets fans. Sorry.
7 straight wins. Lindor Monday hit a leadoff home run. That was the first time a Mets player had done it since Curtis Granderson. Only the 3rd time in franchise history. Aaron Nola, they got to Aaron Nola 4 earned runs in 6 innings. The pitching, it's like their first in starting pitching ERA, second in bullpen ERA. It's like makes me wonder, are they the new Brewers? Like just how good that pitching has been. Edwin Diaz did get injured yesterday. It's a hip injury, so that's something to monitor. Haven't seen the full diagnosis with that, and he might miss some time. He's kind of struggled this year, and that's maybe the one weak point. But other than that, Griffin Canning, really good start on Tuesday. Yesterday, they won in extra innings. The Phillies bullpen blew it late, and
is that a surprise?
No. Like the Phillies have been underwhelming. They're 13-12. They just kind of feel old and slow. Maybe we should get Doring on to get us caught up on the Phillies and what the fan base is feeling. But
I've been watching a lot of Phillies baseball, and like it's like it's like when you go to a nice steakhouse. You go to a nice steakhouse and you order a steak, and like you're getting the good steak prepared, nice steak. You're paying $60-$70, and you're spacing a nice cut of meat and some good sides, and like it's good. But like, I feel like you need a little bit of salt or some sauce on it. And you should never ask for salt or sauce on your steak, like from paying like $60-$80. And that's what I feel about the Phillies. Like I'm enjoying the side dishes. I'm enjoying the ambiance, but the main course is leaving something to be desired. I don't know why. Like it's just not hitting like that. That's just my opinion with the Met.
It does kind of feel like they're, and Doring said it in the preview. He said it's essentially the same team as it has been. They didn't do much. The big offseason change was Max Kepler. It's not exactly a world beating player there. And you just lose Christopher Sanchez, who left the game with an elbow thing.
He's fine.
He's fine.
It's a forearm. They say he needs rest. He'll probably get skipped a turn. And I know that he's my Cy Young dark horse. He's on my fantasy team. A little biased, but they said that he needs a little bit of rest. He'll probably get skipped and he'll be back in 10 days.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I hope so. But the Phillies bullpen, 29th in ERA. It's awful.
They need to make moves, but you want a transaction that we're not talking about. Griffin Canning got traded from the Angels to the Braves for Jorge Soler. Atlanta non-tendered him. Then he signed with the Mets.
I mean,
3.12 ERA right now. Right now, Edwin Diaz has a hip cramp, but man, oh man. The Mets, David Stearns masterclass. They get Francisco Alvarez and Jeff McNeil back on Friday.
Yeah, so I saw that report, and
on the way.
Reinforcements are on the way. They still haven't seen Sean Manaea or Frankie Montas or Paul Blackburn this year. This pitching is crazy. I don't know what kind of pitching voodoo magic they're working, but they got the best pitching staff in the sport right now, and they don't have any star players at all on the roster in terms of pitching.
Are they the new Houston pitching like voodoo magic team? I remember when Houston got Verlander and went nuts. But yeah, woo. But yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, the Phillies, nice steakhouse, good steak, but it's just not hitting. It just is not hitting.
It's missing something.
It's missing something. You don't know. Let's go to talk about Atlanta. Atlanta won 2 out of 3 from St. Louis. St. Louis continues to struggle at the got back on the play, not struggle, but just struggle in general after a decent start. Strider's on the IL with a hamstring. Trellenbach back to normal form. Austin Riley nuking the ball on Monday for a home run for 2 runs. Raciel Iglesias almost blew it, but hey, Braves won the game. Cardinals exploded for 10 runs and winning the game on Tuesday, and the Braves won yesterday. McCullers had a good start, but they could not get any runs across the plate. Eli White hit a 3-run nuke. The Braves with Alex Verdugo are now 4-1 without 5-13. Verdugo, voodoo magic going around in Atlanta.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of Braves fans tweeting like, "I love this Verdugo guy." I'm like, you'll see what happens. You'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens when he's just a singles king coming soon to a block near you.
Ground out. If you need a nice ground out to second base, Alex Verdugo is the perfect player for you. But I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's playing well, because I do think just kind of awkward situation for him in New York last year, and he's a good player. For the Braves, much needed series win. Now you go to Arizona for 3.
Ooh.
Tough series, and then you get Colorado for 3 on the road. Let's see that offense get going, and then the Dodgers. So hopefully Spencer Strider comes back healthy. He's on the they throw him on the injured list, with a hamstring injury.
Throw him on, yep.
So we'll see what happens there, but good series wins for them.
Let's talk about the Astros getting a sweep against Toronto. I mean, Hunter Brown has entered the Cy Young race. In his last 24 starts, 13-5, 1.98 ERA, 145 2/3 innings pitched, 150 strikeouts. He's the only pitcher in Major League Baseball with a lower ERA. The only pitcher, Paul Skeens, was 1.97, only 0.01 difference
in that span.
Yep. Wow. And this is all coming after he added a sinker last season. He's pitched 178 innings pitched, 186 strikeouts, 2.28 ERA, and a 106 WHIP, extending a scoreless inning streak for 24 innings on Monday. Talk about it.
That's impressive.
I mean,
those are good numbers. The Astros are playing good baseball the last week or so.
Got a couple good wins against San Diego. Got that sweep against Toronto. Toronto may be coming back to reality. They got New York this weekend, as we spoke about earlier. Hey, Houston may be one of those teams that acquires the bat at the deadline and they go overdrive. I mean, Cam Smith hit a couple bombs this weekend. You know, they're they're an interesting team to keep our eye on. I want to watch more of Houston to see what they really are.
Yeah, I saw that they are thinking about moving Cam Smith, getting him some reps at center. Interesting schedule coming up for the Astros. They literally the MLB said like let's give this team the full tour of Middle America because
Football,
from now until May 14th, it's all Central teams. It's at Kansas City for 3 this weekend, home versus Detroit for 3, at White Sox for 3, at Brewers for 3, home versus Cincinnati for 3, and home versus Kansas City for 3. It's exclusively Central teams for like the next 3 weeks. That they could pick up some wins, man. And then all of a sudden we look at the Astros like, oh, are they back?
hot take. They'll beat Kansas City because Kansas City's awful. They'll win that series. You can clip this. They'll beat Kansas City. Then they go Detroit. They'll lose Detroit. Detroit plays Detroit for some reason. They play up to their comp like really well.
They're
like,
just a good team. Yeah.
but they play up. It doesn't matter. They always play up. Like they played really good versus Dodgers. Like they lost that series, but they played up to them. Then they get what do they get? Brewers.
White Sox for 3 on the road.
They'll win that one. So there's two. I have 2 series won.
And then Brewers for 3 on the road.
They'll lose that one because Brewers again, very similar. Brewers are really good. So there's 2-2, and then they get Kansas City,
Cincy, and then Kansas City.
Okay, so they'll go 4 for 6. So they'll win. I'm not a math guy, but that's 2/3, 66%.
Yeah,
easily. I got that. Clip it. We'll get to it. Washington, Baltimore. Baltimore's in a free fall.
Free fall.
That pitching rotation is garbage. 7-0 on Tuesday and 4-3 yesterday. Sagano pitched great. I tuned into the game in the 8th, and Nationals pushed across a run. Could have been worse because they had multiple men on base. James Wood hit another nuke, and slowly but surely, the Nationals might be a team that you don't just write a W. They've been playing really well. Mitchell Parker's pitching well. But man, Orioles are in a freaking free fall. Like, what do you do if you're the Orioles? Brandon Hyde, is he going to be the first manager hitting Cancun? Unfortunately,
I honestly think it's one of the most interesting preseason or early season storylines is that Orioles struggles 9-14, dead last in the American League East, only 5 games back. They still, of course, have time to turn things around, but I don't think it's possible for them to turn things around with the starting rotation. They're dead last in starting ERA. And, it's Cade Povich, Brandon Young, Charlie Morton, Dean Kramer, and Sagano. And then Kyle Gibson. It seems like he's coming back in a couple weeks or in a few games. But yeah, it's just tough. It's crazy from what they were a couple years ago, and everyone was hyping them up as like the next big thing in this sport. And I know like the rotation shouldn't be this bad with Grayson Rodriguez being hurt is my point. And I know Zach Eflin's down, Kyle Bradish is down, but come on, guys.
And Rodriguez is not coming back anytime soon. He just got diagnosed with a mild lat strain, and you are very familiar with those.
Yeah. Oh, was that
second opinion?
It's a second opinion thing.
Yeah. No, he already went for the second opinion, and that's what it is, a mild lat strain. So yeah. I mean, I don't know what you do with that team. I mean, the ownership has issues. They Masson released, I don't know if you saw the joke, but they released direct-to-consumer pay-per-view type option where you pay $8.99 a month to watch the Orioles games, and they ended up charging people $8,999.
I saw that. They need money to offer some guys some free agents. Who knows if that was actually an accident? No, I'm just kidding. It was definitely they gave refunds already, but it's funny. Yeah, I was actually reading randomly, but I was reading the CBA a little bit, and about the second opinion stuff. It's So the first opinion is always the internal team training staff, the medical staff you have in
So
roster in house. And the second opinion is if the guy wants to go out and get an opinion from someone outside the club, and the team pays for it if it's like of a certain um well, the team pays for it.
if it's
I'd
one,
have to pull it up, but
yeah.
and like it's assumed that you aren't away from the team for it said like an unreasonable amount of time. So I just interesting. I thought it was kind of interesting that the first opinion is always the internal team doctors and what they think.
Let's quickly wrap up a couple more series. I mean, what do you think about Milwaukee, San Francisco? Milwaukee won 2 out of 1. Game 4 is today. I mean, both teams are very pesky. I mean, Logan Webb, one of the most underrated pitchers in the game. Giants are now 14-2 against right-handed starters. I mean, Jung
Wow.
Cooley's ball really well. I mean, they just manufacture runs.
Yeah,
Both teams are good.
they're good. Camilo Doval's been picking up some saves, and I mean, from the Brewers side, Caleb Durbin hit his first home run on Monday. You had Yelich hitting a grand slam on Tuesday. They scored big. Being a fun game for today. See if the Brewers can level up the series. But I think the Brewers have been a nice, pleasant surprise. Bryce Terang's been good. Sal Frelick's been good. Their pitching staff, like it just seems like, they're despite being banged up in the rotation. I think Nestor Cortez just landed on the 60-day injured list.
He did
Um,
indeed.
Savale's out, Aaron Ashby's out, Cortez, DL Hall, Tobias Myers, Woodruff. Like the rotation is just decimated, and they're somehow still winning games. Right now, their starting rotation is Freddie Peralta, Chad Patrick, Quinn Priester, and Jose Quintana, which Quintana's been good. They're sixth in starting pitching ERA. It's like, how with what they're running out there? 13-12 on the season, 2.5 back of the Cubs. I went over on them. I feel good about that pick. The fact that they keep lose, like they're one of those teams, they just keep losing people and they're still good somehow. I have no idea how.
They manufacture runs. They run the base pass well. They're athletic. They play good infield defense. Good defense. They run well, and they get on base. So
Yeah.
they don't fall like other teams that we talk about a lot on this podcast. They don't fall in love with the long ball.
Yeah, that's true.
So Pittsburgh is in Anaheim, up 2-0 with game 3 tonight. They won yesterday 9-3. Oh, excuse me, Tuesday 9-3. And then yesterday, Andrew Heaney, again, 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Mike Trout, conversations need to be had.
Struggling.
Only singles or homers. So it's kind of like the recipe. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it's concerning. It's there was the hype on Trout early in the season because he was hitting those home runs, and that was kind of the case last year before he got injured. Got up to 10 home runs early on the season in 126 plate appearances last year. The Savant numbers are pretty strong on him. Like he's hitting 169, but his expected batting average is 274. So that suggests that he's just getting a little bit unlucky. The K rate's not great. The whiff rate's not great, but he's walking at a high clip. The barrel rates are hard. Like he's hitting the ball pretty strong. So I think this might just be a little bit of him getting unlucky right now. The sprint speed's still there. So I'm not ready to give up on Trout. I might be ready to give up on the Angels. I mean, they're 11-12 on the season. They started out hot, but Kyron Paris has been unfortunately falling back to earth a little bit. So I don't know.
My baby Judge is falling back to earth. Puppy Judge.
I do think, I don't know if you saw the article in The Athletic. I thought it was kind of interesting. Sam Blum posted it yesterday. There's been some frustration with the travel days with the Angels. So this is the rubber match, last game of the series. Pirates, Angels today. Well, not the rubber match because the Pirates won the first two, but last game of the series. The start time is 8:29 or 6:29 local. And typically, teams play these getaway games during the day, so you have that extra time to fly to your next city. But the Angels essentially are having this game at the latest possible time. And so the CBA states the latest possible start time for getaway games shall be determined by taking the portion of the in-flight time that exceeds 2.5 hours and subtracting that amount of time from 7 p.m., hence 6:29 p.m. So that's essentially MLB it's the last page of the CBA. This is why I was looking at the CBA earlier. They have like prearranged flight times, how long it should take you to fly from every single possible combination of cities in Major League Baseball. And for Angels Twins, they said it's 3 hours and 1 minute. So then you take that and you subtract that. So it said the latest possible start time for getaway games shall be determined by taking the portion of the in-flight time that exceeds 2.5 hours and subtracting that amount of time from 7 p.m. So that's 31 minutes. That's how they got 6:29 start time tonight in Los Angeles. So essentially, the Angels did not want to have a day game today because of the day game would have less attendance. The night game is going to have a little bit more attendance. They make a little bit more money as a result, essentially making as much money as they possibly can. The players are not happy about it. Taylor Ward said, "I don't think it should be allowed, to be honest. I think there definitely should be rules in place to prevent that because it's kind of crazy." Kenley Jansen said, "I don't think it's healthy for anybody to finish playing a night game like that, get in at 6 a.m. Then you have a 7 o'clock game tomorrow in Minnesota. And the next couple of days you have 1 o'clock games. It's definitely not fair." I mean, the Angels are actively putting their own team at a disadvantage because they want to pinch a little bit of extra pennies. Just insane. There's some other teams that the article notes that in Major League Baseball that does stuff like this, but the Angels are the one that the article is about. And I don't know. It's just kind of typical from this organization. Like I just don't think they can do anything right. And you're pissing off your own players, and you're making it less likely for them to win games. Just crazy to me.
And get free agents.
Yeah, get free agents. I know it's only a couple games, but it's like, why would you want to go play there, man?
Talk about it. Tampa, Arizona series tied at 1-1 game 3 today. The Rays won a thriller 7-6 and 11 last night. Back and forth. Corbin and Carroll hit 2 homers, leading the league with 9 home runs right now. Rays got their first road win. Andy Diaz went 3 for 6, and Cameron Miser quietly making himself into the conversation for Rookie of the Year. Brandon Pfaadt leads the Diamondbacks in ERA. Pitched 6 innings, 1 earned, 5 strikeouts, 4 hits. They won the game on Tuesday, 5-1. Going to be an interesting game there tonight. And then finally, Texas versus Sacramento, the Athletics. Tuesday, the Rangers redid their lineup and they won 8-5.
Homer Fest on Tuesday.
Homer Fest, exactly. 8-5. Patrick Corbin was good after his little injury that he got bit. I think it was by a spider or something like that.
Yeah.
Corey Seager left the game with hamstring tightness, and of course, to my luck, he's now on the IL for 10 days. Again, losing, I get McLean back, and then, of course, I lose another player due to a hamstring injury. And then the A's won last night 5-2. Kumar Rocker was not great last night, struggled, and only got through an inning in 2/3. Nick Kurtz had his debut, and his first at-bat, he had a single for an RBI. And A's are a high-powered offense. I love watching A's games. I love their broadcast team. I love watching games at that park because you're going to see runs. If it's bad pitching, it's going to be a Little League Park fest. But Mark Semien has struggled. Should be of note. Only hitting 153 so far.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas has a very interesting week ahead, and so do the A's. I mean, the A's are just fun. I love, if you ever got a chance, just go watch yourself an A's game. I mean, they play tonight at 10:05 local, my time, and then Texas goes up to San Francisco tomorrow, and the A's will be playing the White Sox at home. So we'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Any notes to close out?
No, the A's are a fun team to watch. They have a ton of young talent, which I think bodes well for when they eventually move to Las Vegas. I think they might have a decent team at that point. I mean, they're decent this year, so they're fun to watch.
They just need pitching. J.W. Bleday, he's pretty nice. I know that was one of your guys, but he's slowly showing up. I mean, they got Kurtz, Soderstrom, Rooker, Butler, Jacob Wilson, Langoliers. That's a good nucleus.
Yeah, and then there's no pitch. I mean, Mason Miller, great guy to have as a closer.
Yeah, but you got to get there first.
You got to get there. Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
Anything to close out?
I think that's it, man. I think that's it. Enjoy the baseball today on Thursday. A lot of matinee games. So a good day for baseball. Beautiful day in Chicago. So the vibes are high. Yeah. Enjoy the series this weekend. Yankees got a big one in the division against the good old Blue Jays, and I'm looking forward to it, man.
MLB playoff, NBA playoffs are on.
NBA draft or ML,
NFL
draft tonight.
NFL draft is
Who do you
tonight.
want your Saints to pick? Shador Sanders, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna have a legendary crash out tonight when we draft another defensive lineman, linebacker, O lineman. I can't wait.
I actually had a dream last night that the Bears picked a kicker with number 10.
Oh, that's not gonna happen.
It seems like Genty might be the guy for the Bears.
This draft is just so weird because like nobody knows what's gonna happen other than that one. Everything's just like nobody wants to draft. It seems like it's one of those drafts that it's weak and nobody wants to draft where they're at. And
you went to one of the weakest drafts in recent memory in Las Vegas. That draft was terrible.
That draft, from a fan perspective, it was like 95 degrees. My lips were chapped. I was right behind the Fitzpatrick guys, if you saw.
Like Ryan Fitzpatrick?
You remember that meme that happened that there was all the Fitzpatrick dudes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They had like all the jerseys of the teams he's played for.
Yeah, that trip in general, like it was a great trip experiencing the draft, but it was hot. It was in the literal parking lot on the strip at 95 degrees.
Yeah.
And we stood there and we waited for the Steelers to pick at 21. Saw Kenny Pickett get drafted, and we're like, all right, we're done. Like, we've had enough fun.
Yeah. That was the first quarterback taken, right?
Yeah, it was dark. It was hot. I ended up getting food poisoning the next day.
Oh my gosh.
Food poisoning. And all just to watch Trevor Penning and Chris Olave get selected.
Yeah.
Hey,
not fun.
The only lineman I will take will be Mason Graham. If Mason Graham, I'll be a happy dude.
So, I'd be shocked if he falls to where are you guys picking?
9.
Yeah. You guys are picking right before us.
Hey, maybe we draft Genty and who knows?
What are you gonna do with a running back? The Saints need every position right now.
Hey, I just need Shador on my team. If not Shador, just give me Jackson Dart. If we draft D lineman or O lineman, I will just crash out so hard tonight.
You gotta. What's the point in getting skill positions? You got to build through the trenches.
Hey, we've done that. We've drafted in the trenches for the past 10 years in a row.
Yeah.
Look where we are. Look where we are. Where are we? We're the worst team in the NFC South. And that's saying something. We're the worst team in the NFC South.
That is saying something. That's hard to do.
We've lost to the freaking Panthers. And, we're so garbage. But regardless, I mean,
all right.
We don't know what's going to happen. But that wraps up MLB this week. I mean, podcast 4.5 coming out this weekend, Sunday or Monday, depending on scheduling. Team of the month will be out, and we'll be talking about some starts of the season. Are we buying or selling some of these starts?
Yeah, I think that's the next podcast. Are we going to be buying or selling some of these hot starts we're seeing so far? Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Luis, thanks as always. Long one. So I hope you guys enjoyed. And we'll be back either Sunday night or Monday morning. Until then, we'll catch you next time. Peace out.